Hello there. It's time. Trying to get rid of something. Okay, Joe's Boys, Chapter 6. Yay! I'm so happy to get off Chapter 5. And I haven't looked to see how long this is. I am so sorry, y'all. I keep blinking and wiping. It feels like I got an eyelash or something in this eye, and I've washed it out. Okay, last words. The next day was Sunday, and a goodly troop of young and old set forth to church. Some driving, some walking, all enjoying the lovely weather and the happy quietude which comes to refresh us when the work and worry of the week are over. Daisy had a headache, and Aunt Jo remained at home to keep her company, knowing very well that the worst ache was in the tender heart struggling dutifully against the love that grew stronger as the parting grew nearer. Daisy knows my wishes, and I trust her. You must keep an eye on Nat and let him clearly understand that there is to be no lovering, or I shall forbid the letter writing. I hate to seem cruel, but it's too soon for my dear girl to bind herself in any way, said Mrs. Meg as she rustled about in her best gray silk, while waiting for Demi, who always escorted his pious mother to church as a peace offering for crossing her wishes and other things. I will, dear. I'm lying in wait for all 3 boys today like an old spider, and I will have a good talk with each. They know I understand them, and they always open their hearts sooner or later. You look like a nice, plump little Quakeress, Meg. No one will believe that big boy is your son, added Mrs. Jo as Demi came in shining with Sunday neatness, from his well-black boots to his smooth brown head. You flatter me to soften my heart toward your boy. I know your ways, Jo, and I don't give in. Be firm, and spare me a scene by and by. As for John, as long as he is satisfied with his old mother, I don't care what people think, answered Mrs. Meg, accepting with a smile the little posy of sweetgrass and mignonette Demi brought her. Then, having buttoned her dove-colored gloves with care, she took her son's arm and went proudly away to the carriage, where Amy and Bess waited, while Jo called after them just as Marmee used to do. Girls, have you got nice pocket handkerchiefs? They all smiled at the familiar words, and 3 white banners waved as they drove away, leaving the spider to watch for her first fly. She did not wait long. Daisy was lying down with a wet cheek on the little hymn book out of which she and Nat used to sing together. So Mrs. Jo strolled about the lawn, looking very like a wandering mushroom with her large buff umbrella. Dan had gone for a 10-mile stroll, and Nat was supposed to have accompanied him, but presently came sneaking back, unable to tear himself away from the dovecote or lose a moment of nearness to his idol that last day. Mrs. Jo saw him at once and beckoned him to a rustic seat under the old elm where they could have their confidences undisturbed and both keep an eye on a certain white-curtained window, half hidden in vines. Nice and cool here. I'm not up to one of Dan's tramps today. It's so warm, and he goes like a steam engine. He headed for the swamp where his pet snakes used to live, and I begged to be excused, said Nat, fanning himself with a straw hat, though the day was not oppressive. I'm glad you did. Sit and rest with me and have one of our good old talks. We've both been so busy lately, I feel as if I didn't half know your plans, and I want to, answered Mrs. Jo, feeling sure that though they might start with Leipzig, they would bring up at Plumfield. You're very kind, and there's nothing I'd like better. I don't realize I'm going so far. Suppose I shan't till I get afloat. It's a splendid start, and I don't know how I can ever thank Mr. Laurie for all he's done, or you either, added Nat with a break in his voice, for he was a tender-hearted fellow and never forgot a kindness. You can thank us beautifully by being and doing all we hope and expect of you, my dear. In the new life you are going to, there will be 1,000 trials and temptations, and only your own wit and wisdom to rely on. That will be the time to test the principles we have tried to give you and see how firm they are. Of course you will make mistakes. We all do, but don't let go of your conscience and drift along blindly. Watch and pray, dear Nat. And while your hand gains skill, let your head grow wiser, and keep your heart as innocent and warm as it is now. I'll try, Mother Bear, my very best to be a credit to you. I know I shall improve in my music, can't help it there. But I never shall be very wise, I'm afraid. As for my heart, you know I'll leave it behind me in good keeping. Have to have a little swig of Triple C cold coffee concoction. I'll wet my whistle. Cold coffee. I want to speak of that. Oh, wait a minute. As he spoke, Nat's eyes were fixed on the window with a look of love and longing that made his quiet face both manly and sad, plainly showing how strong a hold this boyish affection had upon him. I want to speak